Hi guys, today I just want to talk about a topic that's close to my heart. As we all know, 2021 has been a difficult year for many of us, including myself. This year we've either lost somebody or we know somebody who's lost somebody because of COVID or even other conditions. And it's just been difficult because traveling has been impossible with the the border closures and all that. And we've sort of been involved in the processes of trying to condole with our loved ones, with our friends and families, and lost very close people and very close colleagues, people that we went to school with, and it's been a very trying moment for all of us. There have been many WhatsApp groups, there have been what we call kudo boards for many of our friends, and I have seen something that is a bit disturbing, or something that I would like to just vent out here. There are a couple of things that I have noticed, and obviously when somebody is grieving, they want to be comforted, and us as friends, or those of us around such people, will want to come out and comfort them in one way or another, by comforting them by being there, or by providing for them, or by saying words. And I just want to probably speak about things that I would recommend, or things that I have, or words that I've had people say that I think are inappropriate. Although they have been said in good faith to try and comfort a person, I think such statements may not be the right statements to tell somebody that's grieving. The first and the biggest statement that I've had across board is, he or she is in a better place. I'll share with you, I recently lost a former classmate of mine. God rest her soul in peace. And she left behind small children, a dear husband, her extended family that loved her dearly, and some statements would come across like, she is in a better place. To be honest, guys, I don't understand, or a small child will not understand when you tell them, mommy is not here because it's in a better place. There's no better place than being next to your loved ones. So sometimes in saying these statements, we may feel like we are giving these people comfort by telling them your loved one is in a better place. If they're born again, you'll tell them they're in God's presence. But to be honest, sometimes these are not the statements to say, because they may leave somebody wondering, why is God a cruel God to take my mom? Why is God a cruel God to take away my husband, or something like that? So that's one statement that I have noticed across board, and to be honest, is probably not the best statement to say. The other statement that I've had is, oh, at least she lived a long life, let's celebrate her life. I don't know what long life means to anybody. I had a near miss. We had a near miss with my mom. She is 72. I don't know what is long life. To me, I still feel like she still needs to live longer. So when you tell somebody who loses someone at 78, let's say, oh, she had a long life, she lived a good life, and now she's resting, I still don't think that's an appropriate statement to say. The other statement that I routinely hear is when people say, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. Trust me, you may not know how somebody else feels. You may have been in the same position, you may have lost your husband like they have lost theirs, but you will never compare your feelings with theirs. Every relationship is different. Every love relationship, mother-child relationship is completely different. People love differently. People will mourn differently. So you may not really understand what that person is going through. And sometimes throwing that statement, I know how you feel, you do not know how that person feels. The other thing is when someone says, We have seen people who lose their kids. Let's say you have a miscarriage, let's say at 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, or a stillbirth. And then somebody says, oh, you guys are still young, you can make another baby. I think that's quite, I like the English word, that's quite inconsiderate, and that's quite a nasty statement to say, and you may say it in the heat of the moment to make the other person feel better. And to be honest, sometimes it's probably just good not to say anything, and let people grieve. And the last statement that I have heard a lot being said is be strong. I think when you lose somebody or when you're grieving, just be you. You don't have to be strong. People will say statements like, don't cry, it's okay. If you need to cry, cry it out. It's good for your mental health. It's good for making that pain and making that grief go, or not even go away actually, just get better. So be strong. What is being strong when you've lost somebody that is dear to you? And probably the few things that I have learned that a few statements that you can instead say when somebody loses their child, whether born, young, older. One other thing that I would probably just say is statements like, it's better that you had a first trimester loss than have a grown kid dying. I think is probably not right as well, because at that point somebody is grieving that specific loss, and although you may be trying to console them, the fact that sometimes you see a child grow, they go through the milestones, they become older, and then from an accident or whatever, or an incident, they succumb when they are, let's say, 18. And although it actually somewhat is the more sane thing to say, because they are now much older and so much invested, you've seen them grow and all that, it's still probably not appropriate to say it's better that it happened now than it happened later. Okay. So the second part of this is, then what do you tell somebody who's grieving? What are some of the statements that I would like to share with us that are probably going to be a bit better when you're speaking to somebody that has been bereaved? One thing that I have come to learn, or that I have heard people say that I think is a good thing, is to say, my favorite memory of your loved one is, like people are now coming up with what we call kudo boards. If you don't know what a kudo board is something that I've seen a bit done back by some of my colleagues when we lost our dear one, and a few other colleagues back in Kenya, is you get something online that is called a kudo board, Kudo board, and in there you write up statements about this person that has gone, how they impacted your life, how you met them, the memories of the two of you, so that these boards are available even for their loved ones way later. Let's say the kids are younger, newborns, these kudo boards will be available to them many years to come, so that they will have a glimpse of what their mother was or what their father was. So sometimes what you can, even if it's not on the kudo board, one thing you can say is, my favorite memory of your loved one is the way she loved children, or my favorite memory of your loved one was the way she was selfless, the way she did 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that way, in a way that person is reassured of the fact that my sister or my brother or my loved one had an impact in this society. And the second statement that I would probably say is, I may not know what you feel, because it is true, you do not know what that person is feeling. Maybe your closest friend, because I've had a very dear friend lose her husband, but you don't tell them, I know how you feel. In On the flip side, you could potentially say, I do not know how you feel, but I want you to know that I am here if you need anything. And please be there. If you say, I don't know what to, I don't know how you feel, but I am here if you need anything. If you need me to pick up the kids from school, if you need me to do the grocery, if you need me to run some errands on your behalf, I want you to know that I am here for you, and I am here to stay for the moment that you, as much as you need me. And please, if you promise that I am here for you, please be there for them. You know, I think the worst case scenario is somebody is waiting on you to pick up their kids, maybe to provide a meal, because they are so distraught, they forget that they need to prepare meals for their young ones. They are so distraught, they don't remember that they need to set up a nursery for a child coming from the hospital. So the noble thing is to actually be there and take up those roles on their behalf, run around on their behalf, and ensure that things are being done, and their normal responsibilities are being met by somebody else, and the younger kids or the older parents are being taken care of. The third statement that it's just good to say is, I am sorry for your loss, you know. And as a doctor, I have to be honest, it's never easy when a patient dies, you know, and most times you have to go in and certify death, and maybe the family is there. And I will be very honest, some of the deaths that I certify are patients who've been palliated, so they're expecting a death to occur. But eventually when it occurs, the pain is there, the grief is there. So how do you approach this? Sometimes I go in there and all I do is, I am sorry for your loss, you know? And just acknowledging the fact that you are empathetic of their loss is good enough, you know? It's good enough. You're not going to do much for them, but you're coming at a point where you are feeling or you are appreciating what they are going through. Okay, so I am sorry for your loss, and it is a good statement that I would encourage us to use. The other thing, or the other statement, the fourth statement that I have come across that I think may be good for us to probably use is, you are in my thoughts, and sometimes you are in my prayers. That alone, just knowing that somebody is thinking about you during a difficult time, somebody is praying on your behalf, somebody is you know, acknowledging or remembering that you are at a difficult point of your life. Sometimes just a message coming through, I know, or a statement just coming through to tell you, you are in my thoughts. Look, it's not even about grieving alone. It's just being in a difficult situation. I remember, you know, like I mentioned recently, when Mom was unwell, there is this brother or a friend that would always, like after some time, send a message and say, I want you to know that I am praying for you. I want you to know that you are in our thoughts and you are in our prayers. That alone is so uplifting, you know. So sometimes just when somebody is crying, somebody is frustrated, somebody is discouraged, somebody doesn't know what tomorrow will bring, just the fact that they know that somebody is on their behalf, praying for them, looking out for them, is encouraging enough. And the last big thing, if we lack words to say, or if we do not really know how to even say it, because we know there are people who don't know what to say, because I have friends who will tell me, come with me, let's go and console so and so, and they will outrightly tell me, I don't know what I'm gonna say, so you say something. And sometimes I usually say, you don't have to say anything, you know. Saying nothing and just being there sometimes is good enough, especially at the moment when it's just happened. Just embracing that other person and just allowing them to cry into your shoulder is good enough. Let them cry it out. Just be quiet, pat their backs, and just say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and just let them. Sometimes you don't even have to say that. Just, you know, just be silent and just hold them close and let them cry it out, and that in itself is very, very beneficial. So just to conclude, we will have people that will be going through a hard time. We'll have people that are grieving. We'll have people that need our words of encouragement. And trust me, many times we do not want to upset these people. And many times we're just looking out for their comfort. But let's learn these little small statements that can make or break what we intend to tell our loved ones. Simple things like being there for somebody. Simple things like just saying nothing and holding them close. Little statements like, you're in my thoughts and you're in my prayers. Is there anything I can do for you? This is what I remember most about your sister. She was generous. She was loving. She looked out for other people. She was selfless. She did 1, 2, 3, and 4. Such statements are going to encourage and uplift somebody that is mourning. So I will probably finish here by saying, won't you go out there and make a difference in somebody that's going through a hard moment?